Hello and welcome to Filibusters and Fine Print, where AMGA's public policy team gives you the insider view on healthcare regulations and legislation. Thanks so much for joining us for the latest from Washington, D.C.
Good morning and welcome to Filibusters and Fine Print, AMGA's public policy podcast, where we cover everything health policy that's fit to print. That might have been a copyright violation. I'm Chet Speed, your host, with AMGA's all-star public policy team. And let's do some introductions because someone is back from Savannah.
I am.
And very happy to have you back.
Thank you. I'm Lauren. What is my job?
I do know.
I don't know. So my grandmother asks me this question all the time, and I say, one day will tell me. So I guess today is not that day.
Yeah. Whatever you do it well.
Oh, I appreciate that.
That's good.
So, hi. It's been 2 weeks. I don't know how to do this anymore.
That's right. We'll get you back in. Not to worry. And someday when we actually videotape these podcasts, you'll notice that I have to be in between the two divas. I'm literally between Lauren and Mr. Drebna. They were spatting earlier.
I mean, like, you can't start a podcast without a good spat.
There was a spat.
Yes. Yeah. Are they going to be in our uncut tapes on our...
Pelotons?
Yeah.
We'll do Pelotons.
Our Patreon, yeah.
Patreons.
Yeah.
Patreon, sorry.
I was like, no. They sponsoring this podcast, Peloton.
We'll end up being the Peloton ads.
Yeah. We can do a class/live podcast.
JB would like the swag we get. It's like they do Lululemon stuff now. So.
Oh, they do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
that stuff's expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
All-made Canadian stuff, I tell you what.
You know what's also expensive? Healthcare.
Wow.
Good intro, Mr. Drebna.
Wow. He was at the end of the podcast, and now he has forced his way to the beginning.
Yeah,
Typical Daryl.
That was, gotta find your moment. Hi, I'm Daryl Drebna, Senior Director of Regulatory Affairs. I have a very small role in this podcast.
I'll go next. Alicia Sawyer, Government Relations Assistant.
Jamie Miller, Ambassador Goodwill here at AMGA.
All right, and I was struggling for a question, but I came up with it. So our building basically has no heat or air conditioning. What's better, being in the cold in the winter or in the heat in the summer?
I would say being in the cold because you can always add more layers. What do you do when you're hot? You can't take off your skin.
I guess that's true. Speaking from this Florida over here. So.
Yeah.
The Georgia person also agrees.
Yeah.
South Carolina agrees.
So I just spent 2 nights sleeping on a frozen lake in northern Minnesota where it didn't get above 10 degrees. You can get warmer. It's there are a lot of things to do it. So I agree. I'd rather be cold than warm. There's ways to heat up.
All right, that's for your personality too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, kid.
Ow.
Wow. Leadership.
He's a red guy. I mean, that's the way it is. My guy's laughing. Micah, how about you? You'd rather be warm. Oh, well, okay. All right, very good. All right. Well, speaking of warm,
Thanks for global warming. You'll be great.
it's climate change now.
Oh,
We've rebranded.
climate is a changing. Okay.
Climate change, right? Because it's not global warming around here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So today, now that we're all back together, which is fantastic, we're going to talk about 2 hearings that were held by the Energy, Commerce, and House Ways and Means Committee with health insurance CEOs, and they're talking about healthcare affordability and what role insurance companies have in that. And we are pretty sure that the insurance companies also laid blame for affordability of healthcare prices on another segment of the industry, namely our members. I think that's fair to say. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we plan on talking about. Yeah. That's in my notes.
15 minutes to clubber. Okay. Well, very good. So Jamie, why are these hearings happening right now? I mean, you do have the 2 major healthcare committees in the House side looking at these things, and I think there's others coming up down the pike as well.
The Montagues and the Capulets, too. Like, they don't typically get along.
Not at all.
No.
And as a Kentuckian, it's also the McCoys and the Hatfields.
The McCoys and the Hatfields.
McCoy should have won, but anyway.
I will update my reference.
I'd say both Energy and Commerce and Ways and Means had hearings the same day about affordability. And as Lauren mentioned, they don't always get along. But as you probably saw, all of the people listening to this podcast, your premiums went up, your deductibles went up, Medicare in general premiums went up. So there's a lot of political pressure from constituents about this. There's a lot of things in the media about Medicare Advantage plans and their costs versus typical fee-for-service. There's austerity when it comes to basically Medicare Part A trust fund is going bankrupt in the coming years and months. There's also a lot of news and media about consolidation of health plans. And in general, I think if you're a politician, you're hearing from your constituents saying, like, I'm making the same amount of money I did last year, but now I actually have less money because I'm paying more for premiums, I'm paying more out of pocket. And so this is a way for these politicians to have cover and start conversations about who is to blame and how can we fix it. And these hearings the other day had some of the leading insurers, and they came and talked about, as Chet mentioned, some issues they want to resolve. And they talk a lot about our ownership structures of providers. They talk about our incentives with fee-for-service, which I found interesting because they create the incentives through the fee-for-service plans. But there was a lot of finger pointing, but there was also a lot of good discussion getting it out there about how we can work together to fix these things. At least not the insurers said that, but the members of Congress did.
All right. Well, that's a great starting point. Thank you, Jamie. So, Alicia, let's start with the Energy and Commerce Committee. How did that hearing go? What do you think?
Both sides, Republicans and Democrats agreed generally that healthcare is just too expensive, that premiums rising, it's too much. Why that's happening, that's where the disagreement comes on. Both parties landed in the expected camps, with Democrats pointing to the changes in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the failure to extend the enhanced premium tax credits, and Republicans talking about the Affordable Care Act and blaming the Affordable Care Act, as well as expressing concern about, and this is my econ vocab word, the oligopoly, which is a small market. Yeah, a little different from a monopoly. That just means that there's multiple but few organizations with the majority share of the market.
And that'd be the insurance industry. Is that what?
And that would be the insurance industry. Republicans were very concerned about there not being enough market competition.
Right. You have Big Four, Big Five insurance companies out there?
Yeah, a lot of them were at the hearing. You had United Health Group, Cigna, the Cigna Group, CVS Health was also present, Elevance, Ascendium, and there was also a group from West Virginia, the West Virginians for Affordable Health Care. They were present to represent patients in this.
I'm sure she did a good job.
But throughout the hearing, there was a recurring theme of shifting blame to providers. Jamie said earlier that they're looking for someone to blame for this, and you kind of see that. It's like when parents call all the kids up to see who did the problem or created the mess, and no one wants to take accountability for it, and so someone's always pointing to the next person down. So we started with insurance plans, and they're pointing next to providers. See that in their comments, blaming prices on cost of hospitals, specialty services, and prescription drugs on providers, pointing to hospital prices increasing larger than the increase in inflation, all kinds.
Yeah, I think they look at the healthcare industry itself, well, I guess the provider industry, I should say, and talk about consolidation there.
Exactly.
We look at their consolidation and say it's a major issue because it's an oligopoly, right?
Oligopoly.
Close. And
so close.
There's 5 or 6 major payers, and then they look at us also and say the same thing, that we're consolidating too much, and that when that happens, prices go up, but quality remains about the same. I think that's...
And that's almost word for word what we got in a lot of the witness testimonies.
And what was interesting is right before the hearing happened, I was actually at the gym because it's all wellness, right? Doesn't look like it. I know.
Are you rowing a boat?
Was that?
Are you rowing a boat?
There's rowing machines.
That's
good
weights.
for you.
Okay. Weights. Doing a bench press.
Feels like you're doing a modified MC Hammer. Like, sorry.
I can't unsee that now.
That was one of my psych songs before.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Was
Oh, yeah.
not.
See, I was kind of in alignment of that.
I literally thought when I played, you couldn't touch me.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That song's
all right,
hard,
let's.
yeah.
Where were we even, my guys? Like, this has got to go.
You were at the gym.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Right, no one believes it. I was at the gym, and of course the Golf Channel's on. There must have been 10 commercials in a row sponsored by the health insurance industry that talked about the skyrocketing cost of hospital care. You could tell that the insurance industry was going to have a hearing the next week because they were prepping already on who they were going to blame for their for some of the things that they need to take responsibility for as well. Great. All right, that's sort of energy and commerce. Ways and Means also held a hearing right afterwards, I believe.
Same day, and they were saying similar things that they mentioned energy and commerce, and they did call out providers and ownership structures and things like that, as Chet mentioned. But they also said things we agree with. So it's like we need to reward value over volume. We're like, yeah, we've been saying that for a while now. They've been saying we need to do more data sharing with providers. And I look at Lauren, and there's like, yeah, we know. We've been working on that for years as well.
So one of the payer reps said that we need to share data.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah. So
That's
we need to, yeah. So
That's funny.
yeah. And for the members of Congress, I would say, especially the chairman, I think cited, it was pretty, summarized everything. He says, the reason we're having this hearing is because of rising insurance premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket costs, claim denials, as well as growth in national healthcare spending, as well as consolidation of the insurance industry. So that kind of summarizes what they were trying to discuss. There's also a lot of discussion about, at least one member wanted to talk about MAHA and how you can make America healthy again and eat the right foods and go to the gym with Chad every day. And but then I think a more surprising thing was there was discussion about something our members care about a lot is Medicare Advantage. So this wasn't just commercial. There was a lot of discussion about consolidation of Medicare Advantage, about how Medicare Advantage can cost potentially more than traditional fee-for-service. There's also discussions about risk coding and vertical integration amongst those insurers. So it was more than just commercial, let's say. Everybody was potentially being addressed in that hearing. And I will say, sorry, Jack.
No, please.
I will add that this is just the beginning. Coming up this month, Energy and Commerce Committee will go towards having something on the pharmaceutical world, basically pharmaceutical distribution network, and they're going to have pharmaceutical manufacturers, pharma distributors, and providers. So this is just the beginning of these hearings.
Right. So I'm giving them credit, Congress that is, for actually looking at a very important issue, affordability, whether it's shopping at the Giant or whether it's healthcare. Yeah. So Daryl is literally chomping at the bit. Actually, in all honesty, he's more pouting because it's been 13 minutes and he's just being asked to comment. So, but
I get to speak now?
Now is your opportunity.
Awesome. So, what would you like to ask me?
So we have a script.
Thank you,
Daryl.
Let me look at my outline. Was MA a subject in these hearings?
Answer. Yes, it was. And I think this is really interesting, and it's actually something that Lauren says a lot. There's just been vibe shifts, right? I really like that, the way she phrases that. I think if you go back a couple of years ago, MA was this largely sacrosanct program, and now it's facing some serious scrutiny. There's previously there was strong bipartisan support, seen as a cost-effective alternative to traditional Medicare, to Jamie's point. But now in this hearing, and even before that, you're starting to see, bipartisan growing skepticism about overpayments, quality concerns, access to care barriers. And, you've seen some of these things in MedPAC reports showing about, quote unquote, MA overpayments or Inspector General investigations into coding practices. And I think a lot of what's driving this is constituent complaints about, coverage denials and prior auth. So while, the folks on the Hill are starting to take a harder look at this, you're already starting to see the fallout in what CMS is doing. Just last week, the advanced rate notice for 2027 came out, and it was essentially a flat rate. Like last year, plans got just more than a 5% payment bump from CMS. This year it's 0.9, flat. It's effectively a cut if you want to factor in the rising cost of care. So I think, based on the shifting politics around MA, CMS has some political cover, even a bit of a mandate to really clamp down on what it's paying to Medicare Advantage plans and try to address program integrity. And you can see that in some of the changes in the risk adjustment that they're proposing in this rate notice. Sort of, for example, trying to eliminate chart review from the HCC risk coding adjustment, that sort of thing. So it's been a total shift on how MA is viewed since I started at AMGA 10 years ago.
Yeah, agreed. And I believe Dr. Oz in his confirmation hearings talked about addressing risk adjustment as part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He did.
So he skipped a year, and now he's
actually looking at it.
Interesting. So, Lauren, now that you're back, and you're hitting stride, we can tell. Why does this matter to the members?
I'm going to introduce a new term to the podcast. I mean, I shouldn't have. I should have waited because Alicia has introduced one. But have you heard of the term maxxing?
Maxxing?
Yes.
Dude.
So maxxing is just doing everything to like the absolute limit. So there's like carb maxxing, there's look maxxing, like
Chet at the gym.
Yeah, like Chet
lazy maxxing,
doing the MC hammer as hard as he can on those weights. And maxxing has like 4 X's in this too as well.
Yeah,
it does.
Really?
It does, yeah.
It's gotta reflect word-wise how maxxing actually
sad.
means.
That's awesome.
So what we're seeing is affordability maxxing in Congress. And it is going to affect, as you mentioned, everything in terms of like conversations. One of the things that we see in these types of hearings is it is theater as well, right? There's a lot of posturing from members. There were a lot of sad like photos, and I don't mean that to be sarcastic at all, but the members of Congress were telling the stories to the insurance companies about how their policies have affected their constituents and what does that look like on the ground. I don't think the insurance company executives were adequately ready for that, which is shocking given how much they spend to get prepared for these things. But I think it's a reflective of just how much of a disconnect we're seeing in these sort of like hearings between members who are really also trying to get reelected. We have a midterm elections that's coming up. And so a lot of these hearings moving forward will be sort of in that same lane, right? Of like, how can we maximize our positions and talking about how this is impacting our constituents, not only because we want to reflect this to the hearing, the witness panel, but we also want to reflect it out to our voting public as well. And so when you're thinking about what this looks like for AMGA members, we're not going to be immune to this. This is something that's going to be coming. There's going to be another hearing. It's going to look at providers. We just don't know when yet. This also means, like, how are we looking at the ecosystem that we're walking into? Things that we need to know, that there is an election in November this year. That means Congress, if they do something this year, won't have a lot of time to actually pull out a piece of legislation. So you might just see more of these hearings and fact collecting with the purpose of perhaps Congress addressing this next year. We'll see what that looks like. We have people retiring left and right. We have narrow like votes right now, but one of the things that we're seeing is also there was reflected in a lot of the conversations. You're going to see more conversation around par off. This is something that's not old in Congress. This is something has a lot of bipartisan support. We've already seen like PBM reforms being reflected already. This passed out in the recent government funding bill. This was a huge issue for Representative Buddy Carter. This is going to be a legacy issue for him. It's addressing PBM reforms, which is something that, as Jamie mentioned, will be talked about later on in the next affordability hearing. This was brought up a lot during the hearing. But there's something else, like as Chet mentioned, these insurance companies were shifting everything to hospital systems. I mean, we were surrounded by an EC that was in ads, it was wrapped around buses, it was in metro stations. And so this is also giving hints to where they want to push these policies. There was also something that I thought was really interesting that kind of got, I don't know if it was talked about enough, but a lot of times people were talking, the health insurance executives were talking about the No Surprises Act and gaming of that system. And so if you're a member of Congress looking for a new issue to talk about that's a little niche, looking back at the No Surprises Act might be something that we should be looking for as well. And so we're going to have to be always cognizant of what's happening and kind of be on guard, because people need someone to blame. Healthcare is complicated, as we've been told so many times. And so we're making sure, and it's important to tell the story of AMGA and what members are doing in order not only to talk about affordability, but talk about career pathways. Our members go into these rural areas, have clinics, and give career pathways to people who may start out answering phones, but end up being healthcare executives. I mean, these are actual real life stories. And so we need your stories as much as possible, because we have to be on a counterattack on this.
Agreed wholeheartedly. You hit your stride big time. Alicia, why don't you wrap
Yeah,
it up
this
and
is-
see how to get engaged?
Thank you so much for teeing it up perfectly, Lauren. She's right. We have to be ready to counter and, defend ourselves, but also more like set the facts. Information, they don't know, the members of Congress, they don't know what they don't know. And that's why it's so important when they're looking for information and they're trying to gather facts, that we ensure that AMGA members are present at the table. And we have you all, and that's our superpower. Our superpower is being able to pull up to a meeting and have a provider there to give their genuine, real experiences that they're going through on the ground every day, whether that's in a rural community, whether that is the No Surprises Act and the impacts in areas where members of Congress could go and look back if you have that information available. And so this is an important time to be involved. They're gearing up, and we can feel them preparing. Big changes are going to be happening in the next year, and we need to be a part of it.
Could not have said it better. We've always talked about, for years, over a decade, about entitlement reform may be coming at some point in time. And it never has, but it is. Medicaid has already been reformed to the tune of $1 trillion. And now we have affordability being pushed on us by insurance companies and others, and a Congress that is looking for answers and to be reelected. So we have challenges, AMGA and the members, and we look forward to working with all of you to make sure that, as Alicia said so well, get your story out there. That's it for the day. Anything else from the team? I think we're wrapped up. Thanks very much, and have a good day.
Thanks for joining us for Filibusters and Fine Print. This podcast was brought to you by AMGA. For more information about AMGA's advocacy efforts, visit amga.org/advocacy.